Hello, this is Colerain Township.
Hello, and welcome to Colerain Communicator. I'm Jason Grisgoric. Did you know 1 in 4 women have experienced domestic violence, and 3 out of 4 Americans know someone who has or has been the victim of domestic violence? These are some terrible statistics. But here in Colerain, we are very fortunate to have some fine group of people that have joined me here at the round table today to discuss domestic violence, Colerain Township, and how we can help you. I've got Lieutenant Angela Meyer to my right here, ready to discuss the Family Justice Center.
Yes, I am.
Angela, glad you could join us.
Thank you.
Those are some pretty startling statistics.
It is a little scary.
And to know that this is going on not only in Colerain Township, but nationwide is even worse.
Well, and I say a part about domestic violence is it touches everybody. You know, whether it be a coworker, a family member, you know, people that you're not even sure of, you know, that are around you. That's the worst part, is that domestic violence touches everybody's life one way or another.
And we've been very fortunate here in Colerain to be able to, as of October 1st, 2013, open up a wonderful building.
We did.
That wasn't a wonderful building at
No,
one
it was
time.
not.
We won't go into statistics because everybody kind of knows that beautiful story of the ugly duckling that has now become the Family Justice, the Resource Center down there. Of course, we cannot leave our other family members here behind.
No, we can't.
Of course, joining us today, Angela, who do we have with us?
This is Sergeant Jennifer Sharp. She's been with the department 14 years. She works at the Family Justice Center as well. And Detective Dave Hubbard, who was assigned to domestic violence a year ago. And he's our detective who does not only other cases, but also assigned to domestic violence cases.
So I guess my initial question is, you know, obviously we saw the building emerge to what it is. Mm-hmm. What was the call, the need, or I guess you could call it the desire to create what has become the Family Justice Center or the Resource Center in a whole?
Traditionally, whenever there's a domestic case, as a police officer, when you get to somebody's house, you go, you take the report, somebody goes to jail, you pretty much walk away till you have a court date. I think all of us probably felt at a point that, you know, sometimes it didn't seem like enough. And at one point, our chief at the time went to a seminar and came across the Family Justice Center, came back, sent Jennifer and I the paperwork and said, do you think we can do this? And both of us immediately said, absolutely. And Jennifer has taken a lot of it on and taken it and run with it. And we are as successful as we are today. For that, that's how it started. And
of course, I got to take a tour of the facility, which is, you know, it is small, but it is mighty with what you have. When I was there were about 3 other women there. Is that about the amount of staff that's usually with you? And are they volunteer or are they full-time staff?
They are actually, since we're only open, well, now we're open Tuesdays and Thursdays. We started today on Tuesday. It's our first opening for 2 days a week now. They are actually from other organizations in the area that come out and spend their 4 hours with us at the Family Justice Center in order to assist the victims.
And there's got to be a bigger screening process because you've got to all gel together and work well together. And from what I saw, the word family justice does not do the building justice because you truly are family. I mean, that family is the heart of this entire organization.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've developed over the last 14 years relationships with these different organizations, Women Helping Women, Adult Probation, Mental Health America, YWCA, just a plethora of different organizations that I've actually gotten to work with over the last 14 years. I've been on the Domestic Violence Coordinating Council, so I've attended, you know, and worked with the Death Review Board, where we actually review domestic violence homicides. So, and what we can change it up and what we can do differently. So as soon as, you know, Angela and I got to find out that this was something we were going to do, I immediately sent out the email to all the people that I knew from all the different organizations, and the response was phenomenal. So they were ecstatic about the idea of actually bringing the Family Justice Center here locally.
And since you've had such great contacts, obviously it was no problem to get everybody on board with where you needed to be, at least on that end. And then, of course, you had such great side up with Colerain Township to partner the two then.
Absolutely.
So your job was cake then, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty easy to get everybody on board, and actually looking at a few other groups right now to also add to it. especially now that we're 2 days a week. So, yeah, I mean, Lieutenant Meyer has, jumped in and helped with every which possible way. And then to go and have Detective Hubbard now just was an added bonus that we got to start. I guess it's been since the beginning of this year that he's got to actually come on board and be a domestic violence investigator. When Lieutenant Meyer and I actually went and visited one of the family justice centers in Texas, one of the biggest things that they had there were domestic violence investigators. So as soon as we got back, I mean, it was an automatic idea that would be something we would be able to put into place. And fortunately enough for us, we were able to get that started. So, and Detective Hubbard's been phenomenal throughout this whole thing. So.
Well, you, of course, get to be the lone boy in the girls' club, I guess you could say. But that doesn't make it any different than what it should be. You have a very pivotal role there as well. How do you feel with this all beginning? How do you feel, one, your place in the organization, and two, how it fits in Colerain?
As far as how do I feel honored, to be honest with you, because working with these women at the Family Justice Center with, as Jennifer Sharp said, with Women Helping Women, YWCA, the Mental Health of America, and Hamilton County Probation, working with these women, some of them are being paid, some of them are not, some are volunteers. And to see their passion to truly want to help someone and change their life. A lot of times people say domestic violence, first thing pops in their mind is that the police officers want to arrest someone. Working with the Family Justice Center, that's not our main course. Our main course is to change that victim's life. If they're in a situation where they have, you have to understand, a mindset of a victim or a survivor, if you will, is not the same as it would be for anyone else. As Lieutenant Meyer said earlier, protocol, as far as police officers responded to domestic violence, the first thing that you would say was, well, why don't you just leave? That would be the normal response for a police officer. And now being involved with the Family Justice Center, I see that it's actually a situation where people are being isolated. The mental the mental capacity of these survivors is actually being suppressed to the point that they think that this is the only way of life for them. Okay. And what we try to do is shock that sense and say, listen, we're here, there's a different life. There's a different way, for you to live, and try to give them the path so that they could better their lives. And
that's probably not an easy task. I mean, for most of us, getting out of bed, and that's the hard part, without the cup of coffee or something. Here are women, men, anybody going in and being abused, or to the point of near death. It's to some extent. Yes. I mean, if you're talking homicides, I mean, obviously, there's got to be a drastic shock, and I'm assuming this is not an easy task for you to accomplish.
No, statistically it takes 7 to 10 times for them to actually be in the domestic situation, 7 to 10 different occasions that have occurred, situations that have occurred before they even call for any assistance at all. So to get that victim to actually step in the door at the Family Justice Center, that in and of itself is phenomenal. So we do our best to make sure that they're greeted the right way and that they're taken care of, and that whatever it is that they're in need of, whether it be an arrest or not, that's not our main goal at all. As Dave said, that's not what we're there for. We're there to help them and get them into a better life.
And of course, you have to show it as a safe place. And
yes.
Being anonymous, I'm assuming, is part of that plan. And what other steps are there so that if people are watching today that are feeling that they're a part of a situation they can't get out of, or they feel that they can't get out of, let's walk through an item in which someone wants to come. What would be those draws to bring that person in? Go ahead.
Either way, what I think we need to back up for just a second. What ends up happening a lot is someone that's a victim, as a police officer, when you respond to their house, you give them quick information, how they can, if they need something, give us a call. Victims don't normally do that. Or when they're looking at the person we just arrested as the breadwinner that comes in the house. Some of our victims, not a lot of them, but some of them, they're a stay-home mom, or some of them even might be a dad that's disabled, and then they're the ones who stay at home. So we get men and women, and either one is fine. We have resources for everybody, but I think when they come in, to understand that our resources, you don't always have to talk to a police officer. And I think that's really important, because we used to go to someone's house and then we would almost, and it's sad to say, we'd almost re-victimize them by telling them, okay, go down and talk to Women Helping Women, go find legal aid, go here, go there, and we would send them 4 different directions. The idea of the Family Justice Center is it's everybody under one roof during that time period. And I think that's really important for people to know. It's not just police officers. When Jennifer and I work there, this is what we wear. We wear our Family Justice Center shirt and different kind of pants. Detective Hubbard wears his. We're not in uniform.
Sure.
So that's really important. But someone will come in the door, and we have a receptionist right there that will ask, who do you need to see? It might not be a police officer, and we have cubicles where if they need Women Helping Women, they will take a Women Helping Women representative and go back and talk to them. During the course of that conversation, then they may realize, or the Women Helping Women, maybe they need the mental health specialist, maybe they need legal aid. Mm-hmm. So then when they're done talking to them, then they automatically switch over, and then the person from legal aid will go talk to them. And that's the whole idea. And at some point, they may say they need the police. We've had people come back 2 or 3 times.
Oh, absolutely.
They'll come back. Maybe that first time it was just their step through the door. Mm-hmm. They'll want to talk to Women Helping Women, and then they gain a little more confidence, mm-hmm. gain a little more self-esteem, mm-hmm. and then they'll come back, and then they'll want to talk to legal aid, because they kind of went back to their circumstances, because we did. And Detective Hubbard's right. We used to just say, why do we keep going to this house? This person needs to leave. And we have done a big push on re-educating police officers mm-hmm. with our resources, with why people stay in situations that they stay in. Financially, they might not be able to break away. They have children, whatever the case may be, that they don't want to break away. And then when they come into our resource center, they may come back 2 or 3 times. We don't mind. There's no limit, as long as they're getting the resources that they need.
I would assume that there would be many, I don't want to call it return visitors, but just the constant return, what I would say return home, that feeling of comfort, that mm-hmm. feeling of assurance to gain that confidence to go out into the world. And like
Absolutely.
you're seeing repeat people coming through
mm-hmm.
the door. And is that not more of a sign of help than it is seeing a person come once and
Sure.
then
Absolutely.
leave?
Sure.
Well, sometimes they'll come back. If they were a victim, they'll know somebody else who's a victim, mm-hmm. and then they'll bring somebody else back. Hey, I got some help here. Let me bring you there. And they don't not coming maybe for themselves, but they bring somebody else back for their circumstances, whatever they may be. So.
And of course, when the doors open in August, we've already celebrated a birthday.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, success-wise, how do you feel that has been for that 1-year anniversary?
I feel that it's been amazing. We have helped almost 150 different people with only being open 4 hours a week. Every Thursday from 12 to 4, being open 4 hours a week, and to know that we've actually assisted 150, close to 150 survivors, and hopefully made some changes in their lives for the better. Mm-hmm. That's success. I mean, if it was just one person, that's success. So either way, I mean, I think it's amazing.
I heard the same thing. Did you feel the same way in that
Absolutely,
year?
Absolutely. They've been several cases that's been throughout since I've been on board, since the first of the year, that were repeat calls, where officers were constantly being called, and there was really no solution. Just somebody being arrested, the victim not showing up to court, case being dismissed, and then it just starts a cycle all over again. And they've been, like I said, a couple cases that's been throughout the year that we've been involved in that have actually went all the way to conviction mm-hmm. and a separation, to the point that both parties are no longer together. So we haven't, as far as I'm aware, at this point, we have not received any return calls to those locations. So it does have its big success, and like what Sergeant Sharp just said, you can't measure success based on numbers when you're dealing with families and dealing with human life. And my feeling is the same as all 3 of us here. If we change one life, one family, then we've done our job.
And you've done that, as we said, all in the course of a 4-hour time span, one
Yes.
day a week.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a typical model, or was that something that was just available to you to be able to start, or at least see how the pilot program would work? I mean, because you really, by the time 4 hours, kind of, at least in my mind, you kind of get rolling in 4 hours.
We went, when Jennifer and we went out to Fort Worth, Texas, because they have San Diego has a great family justice center that we took a lot of information. They've been super supportive. Also with Fort Worth, Texas, Jennifer and I went there and went to a seminar for family justice centers, how to get them started, what to do, and the best advice we had from any of them, and I'm sure Jen will agree, was you just need to pull the trigger on it, make it happen, be there for people. You'll figure out some bumps and bruises along the way, which we did, and be there for people. Open your doors for people to come in and get the resources they need. And we've kind of modeled it after that. We've had, again, good success with that. That's why we decided, and actually Detective Hubbard came in and said, this isn't enough. And we're like, oh, okay, it's not enough. It's not enough because a lot of times domestics happen on the weekends, and then people aren't available to get to the resource center till Thursday. So we decided to now do Tuesdays from 11 to 3 and Thursdays from noon to 4.
And,
so here we are.
And you just started that this week, you said?
Yeah.
Today's day one of the Tuesday.
Wow.
So, yes.
So hopefully things
Yeah.
will progress. I always like to ask the proverbial crystal ball, what would you like to see the Family Justice Center evolve into? I mean, we already have such a wonderful establishment right now. I know I can see it in your eyes. You all want more, and that's great. I mean, let's go around the table. What's the one thing each of you would want to see next?
I would love to
Evolution.
see it. I would love to see it open every day, even if it's small scale every day. It's really hard. Again, a lot of our resources, these people have their full-time jobs at their offices, so to be able to pull resources together every day, that would be my thing. I would love to see it every day where someone could come in and say, I have an issue or I have questions, just to have that available every day. That's the one thing I would like.
Probably a larger facility in order to house more groups of people. Like I was saying before, we're trying to bring in other groups into the whole realm of it. So, I'm trying to work right now with bringing in hopefully some help for addictions. A lot of times, drug and alcohol addiction coincide with domestic violence. So to be able to actually offer that assistance as well would be phenomenal. So a larger facility.
Well, they took it.
off.
So I'll add to it. Yes, definitely a 5-day working facility is my, vision that I see for this. Also, developing relationships with other agencies in the area, a larger facility, of course, bringing in other agencies to maybe set up maybe even a command station to where that we could be called out. And when you're dealing with the statistics of the homicides of the DV, of domestic violence, if you had a felonious assault, detectives will respond out and they investigate that. A lot of times with a felony domestic violence, it's still felonious assault, but because it's a felony domestic violence, generally it's just the officer that is the one that is investigating that. And that's something I would like to see change.
It's a lot of big things to look forward to, but I mean, seeing that it started out with just an idea and a seed, has grown to this has got to be a lot of momentum. And again, we see a lot of passion in all of your faces and in your gusto for this, and the volunteers and everybody who works at the center is just wonderful. I just have to wonder if that is going to radiate out. Are other communities looking to your Family Justice Center as possibly something that they can do, or quite possibly partner with to work with? Because I mean, obviously, not all domestic violence happens in Colerain Township, and obviously, we need to branch out.
Perfect point. The Family Justice Center is not just for those that live in Colerain Township. We will take anybody from anywhere, any state.
We've called
we
other
will
agencies.
assist any which way. I mean, we've had people from Blue Ash, we've had the city, we've had from all over.
Indiana.
So you do not have to live in Colerain Township to come see us.
We're on the bus line.
Yes.
That's the big difference.
That was
We're on
a
the bus
huge
line.
part of it.
And do you think there's a lot of do you feel there are any misconceptions of the Justice Center? Because again, there's a lot of fear, and that's the biggest thing, taking that first step in. And if you have a lot of preconceived notions going in, you may not want to open that door.
I think as a survivor, I think one of the things that they fear the most is if they come in that door, that their abuser is going to be arrested. I think that's one of the big things, that they can come there and just get answers and just get help. It doesn't mean that they're going to talk to the police. We'll be happy to talk to anybody, but I think that's what they're afraid of. They just are looking for information, and we are a wealth of information, you know, with resources available for everybody on just about every topic. And we also have a huge base for Hispanic, for any other language or any other culture. We have really made our resources available for anybody. It doesn't have to just be, you know, we can help any culture, which is nice.
And what would you say the reaction has been from the community? Obviously, we were talking about you can't judge anything by numbers and you can't judge success by numbers, but obviously if you don't have your community standing behind you, it's kind of puts a damper to your day, so to speak. But I'm sensing Township's pretty much behind you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and our administration and the trustees, our staff, our bosses, everybody is, whatever we need. If David's working on something and we need to pull David, or Jen and I are working on something else, we just stop doing. If the family justice needs it, they're all for it. They would never have had any trouble whatsoever. And we ask people, and anybody was willing to help.
So that's a good lead in. So if anybody wants to come to 5760 Colerain Avenue, that is the 7560. I knew I was going to do this wrong, and it's written right
they
there.
They can go to 5760, but we will not be there.
I don't know what's really
in the city.
Thank you.
Just come up the street a little bit.
Just keep walking. It's on the bus line. But if they do come to 7560 Colerain Avenue, they will be greeted by a wonderful group of people. There is really no fear in doing so. No. The only thing I don't have is the phone number.
If they can call 385-7504, which is the police line, they'll put them right into the Justice Center.
Just ask for the family.
And
Justice
it doesn't. Center. If someone has a need, we do have a clerk who works there 5 days a week. They could come there. She also has resources available. We'd love to see them on a Thursday or a Tuesday, but if it happens to be a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, we can get them the resources because there is somebody at that location 5 days a week.
So no one is ever left alone, which is, I think, one of the biggest fears.
And most of us work like every day. I know Detective Hubbard and I work every day, but if someone would come in on another day, that we have absolutely all the resources, and all of our partners that are at the Family Justice Center, we can make one quick phone call and they can have that person there.
Well, believe it or not, we are down to the bottom of the hour. Again, I want to thank you for all joining us. This has been wonderful. We already knew we could talk forever on this, and we really could. There's stories we could tell and everything else, and how again, like I call it, the little building that could. It really has become that true gem from the ashes of nothing to something wonderful.
It's amazing.
I'm so glad you could all join us. We'll be back. This isn't the last time. We'll be back. We'll discuss again, and I'm glad that you could all be here. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to thank all of you for joining us again. Remember, Colerain's just a phone call away. That's why we're here. We are the Colerain Communicator, and I want to thank you for joining us for this October edition. Have a great evening. We'll see you next month.